I'm Rantasmo, and Apt Pupil needs more gay. Hey everyone, we're about to have a serious discussion on the internet, and you know what that means. Nazi analogy! Hitler, the Nazis, the Holocaust, these have all become universal symbols of the reality of evil. Unlike vampires, demons, and werewolves, these are monsters we knew for a fact actually existed, and did the worst things that anyone's ever done in recent history. They've come to represent absolute evil, and beyond that just being convenient for hyperbolic message board debates, I think that as a culture we're a little bit more obsessed with the idea of absolute evil than we'd care to admit. Nazis are about the closest we have to real-life comic book villains. They had an unambiguously evil leader, complete with unattractive facial hair, mad scientists, uniforms with effing skulls on them, and as such, they've often served as the antagonists in actual comic books, or as the direct inspiration for some of our most iconic fantasy and sci-fi villains. Nazism is also the ultimate taboo, and for certain people this appears to have a certain sexual appeal. There's a controversial subset of BDSM that fetishizes Nazi imagery, and gay fetish artist Tom of Finland was well known for appropriating the look of Nazi uniforms in his illustrations. So what happens when morbid fascination turns into the outright sexualization of evil itself? Such is the case with the young protagonist of Apt Pupil, a chilling Stephen King-based thriller with a gay director, a gay lead actor, and hella homoerotic subtext of a very twisted nature. The late Brad Renfro plays Todd Bowden, an intelligent high school student who discovers that his neighbor, Mr. Denker, played by Ian McKellen, is actually a fugitive Nazi war criminal. Fascinated with the inhumanities committed during the Holocaust, Bowden blackmails Denker into sharing the gory details of his actions, inadvertently opening up a Pandora's box of deception and violence. And did I mention gay subtext? Some of it just involves the way the movie is shot, like this scene where Bowden makes Denker put on a uniform and march around.
March!
And there are quite a few lines where the implications are pretty obvious.
Baby, you just don't like girls.
I think some of this stuff might not even qualify as subtext.
I think you should yourself.
Oh, my dear boy, don't you see? We are each other.
Do you get it? With their penises. This movie has been accused of being homophobic, in that it correlates gay tendencies with violent obsessions, but I'm not sure that I buy that. Apart from the fact that Bryan Singer and Ian McKellen are unlikely to have ever made an intentionally anti-gay movie, I feel like the homoeroticism is more incidental to Bowden's relationship with the Nazi military. The historical figures responsible for our planet's most violent atrocities have been predominantly male. Bowden's lust for violence is inextricably tied to those figures, and there is something vaguely gay about that. The fact that Bowden happens to be underage serves to make the whole thing extra squicky. But it's obvious that this isn't a movie about romantic love, or even physical attraction really, and I don't think it's a movie about being gay. It's about an imbalance of power, and the way that that power is exchanged back and forth wildly between two very messed up people. It's pretty disturbing to watch, but also fairly engaging. Incidentally, on a side note, certain quote-unquote historians have made the claim that Hitler himself was gay, and despite having brutally persecuted homosexuals, that the Nazis specifically recruited gay men as top-level soldiers because of their exceptionally savage nature and lack of moral restraint. An idea that actual historians have referred to as f***ing hilarious bullshit, though it does make for a pretty great musical number.
I'll myself raise your hand. There's no greater dictator in the land.